Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I got to participate in an interesting little historical parade. It's called the Evacuation Day Parade, commemorating in 1783 when the British left New York City for the last time, and the flag was taken down, and the Betsy Ross flag was raised. It was very patriotic, very historically interesting moment. So we had a nice little couple speeches and then a nice little recreation. But I hope you had a good weekend too, maybe less historical. But before we get started, I want to say thank you to Cordero Catolico for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hope you have a great time. And Kit, congratulations! You have claimed the crown of firstendom on this, the first day of the week, when we will be transcending so many times. Yes, because through Chrono Trigger today, we are going to be visiting all the different ages because we have some side quests to do. Also good to see you, Bray Herd. So let's go ahead. Let's dive on in. And where's the audio? I swear this was working. You can't see audio. You can with a visualizer? Also good to see you, Gail. What is wrong? I touched nothing. I did nothing. I think I know what's wrong. I'm gonna have to climb under my desk. I think the graphics card is glitching. Hey, okay. Graphics card just needed a reset, and now the video's frozen. There we go. Have I tried turning it off and on again? You know, that's basically what I just did by unplugging it. Greetings from not the office. Well, greetings to you too, Brit. The fated hour. So, the world is ending. We can stop it. We're gonna do other stuff first. Am I here? I see you. You were worried when you got in. That's valid. When it said disembark, my brain thought, ah. Disembark from the end of time. Okay, so we have 6 quests to do. I wrote them down because I don't trust me to forget them. No, I do trust me to forget them, actually. 4 of them start in the Middle Ages. Oh, you got to leave it. Ooh, very nice. Okay. So, here we can go fight a knight ghost. We can fight Ozzy again. We can fix the desert. Or we can get the rainbow shell. We have to do all of them eventually anyway, but... So there's Ozzy's fort. I want to do the knight first, I think. Which is... southwest. Or southeast. I'm doing well. I told Chad I got to participate in a historical reenactment parade for Evacuation Day. Okay. How do you miss? He's right there. Oh, I didn't mean to do cure. I thought that was water. I'm cooked. I just started and I'm cooked. There we go. I love the drum track of the fight song. What? More of you. Be gone! No, don't steal my MP. I need that. That's most rude of them. All these pits. I can't get any further into this castle. My tools have been stolen. I can't get any work done now. Oh. So we're gonna need to find his tools. Hey, Chrono, I've finally got a lead on the rainbow shell. But there's something odd going on. Can you hang on to this for me? 1. Toma's pop. If I don't return, come to my grave and pour this on my headstone. Gee, isn't this morbid? Yeah. I wish Toma would stay put for a change. 10 years, a beast was seen carrying something into the northern ruins. Treasure, perhaps? Okay, so we're gonna have to find that dude's tools in order to get the work done. Remember where they are. a couple full tonics would be bad. Okay, so we're gonna need to find the tools. Maybe we'll find that somewhere else along the way. So in that case, so we've started that one. Let's go do the desert. Is it where or when are they? Good point. My husband Marco is finally home. I'm so relieved. Don't worry, I'm home for good. The desert monsters are draining the life out of the soil here. This mystic seedling could revive the forest, but I can't plant it. Too many hungry monsters lurking about. Monsters in the desert cave hate water. I can't defeat them myself. In we go! This seems safe. So yeah, all these monsters are weak to water. Which, conveniently, we have two people who can cast water spells. Ow, my face. No, I just want to open the chest. Magus just casually moonwalking there. If it's a hexapod, why does it have 4 feet? Surely it should be an octopod. Good news is, with how this fight's going, I'm feeling pretty confident about the boss. No, put my Magus down. It's very rude and uncalled for. Ooh, magic wall. It's actually a very nice spell to have. So many fights of just the same thing. Let's see how they like lightning. Also, I like the implication that they are made of sand with that, where it's like, ah, water hardens the sand. Nope. Aeon suit. I already have one, so let's give it, yeah, to Frog. Just gonna give Frog a mid-ether while I'm in the menu. Another fight? Seriously? Oh, you things are different. Well, at least it's a different enemy. What be this? It be the boss! Retinite. He's behind this new desert. Oh, to slayeth monsters within the earth, 'tis very difficult a task. Oh, we've slain weirder. Also, it looks suspiciously like a skeleton boss we've already fought. Rude. Roadster. Today's the Feast of St. Catherine, named after the Catherine wheel. Wait. Strike that. Reverse it. No, she's a martyr, and she's a great example, honestly, of the widow in the gospel putting her 2 cents in. She puts in her whole self. Catherine herself was a great evangelist throughout Macedonia. And ultimately martyred for it. An example of all your faith put together in your life. Oh yeah, he's throwing a disco party. You had St. Catherine yesterday. Oh, would you look at that? Now, does that mean, was the Sunday celebration in honor of her, or is it just her calendar feast day yesterday? Stop that. It's gross. It's uncalled for. I think I'm gonna use a full heal here on Magus. She's listed on the calendar. Ah, okay. It is interesting to see on the East versus West calendar what saints are on similar days versus different days versus wildly different times of the year. Those hips just ate my frog. It was most uncalled for. Yes, yes, have yourself a little disco party. I know that doesn't do any damage, but it keeps their defense down, so... I'm actually more worried about running low on MP at this point. No! Oh, that throws a whole wrench in the machine. Hey, Casey, thanks so much for the 100 bits. How you doing today? Seems like usually a feast day is wildly different. Part it's not for a specific saint, such as All Saints being on Sunday after Pentecost. That's fair, but there are also still some random saints where it's just like, and this one's at this time of year. Doing good. Your partner's got out of the hospital. They're much better. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. It is never fun being stuck in a hospital as a patient, nor having a loved one in there as a patient. And down goes Frog. And down goes Chrono, because I wasn't paying attention to his health. Oh, that is way too close for comfort. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, I was feeling good about that boss for a while there. Now we're all the way back here. So even all the stuff we did in the castle is undone. Yay. Yeah, this boss was not easy. Let's go to where that castle is, but in the present age. This is what I get for feeling good, I know. A torch comes from the pendant. So this was actually originally supposed to be an entire dungeon. Hello, no.
Oh, the seal's been broken. I'll give you the treasure of the Guru of Reason. To the right is a weapon which increases strength. To the left is protective gear which will guard your life. Choose whichever you feel you need. 13,000 years was a long time. Balthazar, I shall see you shortly.
Gonna go with the armor, I think. Cuts physical damage by 1/3. Seems pretty good. I guess is this where I want to be? No, this isn't where I want to even be. This is not what I'm looking for. Although the pyramid was nice, don't get me wrong. There's the castle. Grrr. Wait, Cyrus? I know that guy.
My sword hath no effect. Glenn. Cyrus, 'tis me, Glenn. What, Glenn? Grrr. Spooky ghost.
Okay, he Angie. I'd stay away from the ruins. The structural damage is severe. Ghosts lurk in the ruins.
There's an old structure to the north that's been ruined for ages.
I know, I'm trying to fix it. You say some brain-dead ghost hangs out in the ruins. Yeah, we met him. His name's Cyrus. Scary. Spirits still attached to the real world. Live in places like that. Ugh. The black omen sparkles in the sun. Tomorrow should be clear, too. The anguish of tormented spirits has created a negative energy that surrounds the ruins. Hey, bring some more soda. Sir, I think you've had enough sugar today. Sugar. Pipe down, I'll tell you when I've had enough. Can't you see I love soda pop? Heard about the ghosts? Yes. Oh. Beat it. Get lost.
The young'uns went to the Millennial Fair. Kids are gluttons for fun. The adventurer Tomer's grave is on the Western Cape. He only failed to find the rainbow shell.
Not a single sale, and I came all the way from poor. Will you buy something? What do you have? Oh, right. Since I died, I lost all of these. My husband's never around. I'm gonna show him who's boss next time. Pow! Right in the kisser. Your choice? For a reference? My grandpa, I'm gonna be a carpenter just like Daddy. Yeah, where's your dad? Wrong button. Got an adapter for my SNES today and a Super Mario game. Hey, let's go. Hope the old Nintendo works still. I bet it does. Those things are built to last. And if not, just use some rubbing alcohol on the cartridges or on the contacts in the console itself. That usually cleans things right up. Hey, thank you for the extra 100 bits. Yes. Toma will get your sody pop. Wish we had done that before, because then we could have visited his grave while we were in the other age, but oh well. Yep. Let's go fight, let's go fight Ozzy.
Come on in. This is the Great Ozzy's place. What the? Wow! You're the Great Magus.
You're doing well, Ozzy. I will do 100 more if Casey gives 100 more, but it has to come from Casey.
The nerve! Deserting your fellow mystics to serve these humans. You're a traitor. You're not our king. Why did you desert us? You pesky, low-down, good-for-nothings. Oh, I'll have you begging for mercy. Flee!
You sent for me? Well, if it isn't Sir Magus, who'd you bribe to get in here? Traitors like you deserve a beating. Oh, great Ozzy, stand back and let me take care of these cretins.
I'm counting on you, Flea.
Get ready for a slapping good time, get it? Because Flea is known for playing slap bass. Slap bass, slapping. Slapping, get it? Do you get it? I'll actually give Wolseley big credit on making a pun like that in a localization when the original was these three characters were like condiments, like they were ketchup, mayonnaise, and soy sauce. That was easy.
Oh, just you wait. We'll teach you a lesson.
Or you can just give 300 bits. Thank you for the 300 bits, Kit. Let's spin that wheel. Yeah, something's happened. I don't know what, but it cuts off the bottom now. Green tea candy. Might help if I open the right drawer. So yeah, this is the Bally's Best Green Tea Latte Candy. A delicious candy infused with authentic green tea extract. Ugh, I can't talk. They look like... Looks like a little hockey puck. Oh, right. This is the one that tastes more like milk than green tea. Not complaining. It's just odd.
Howdy. You're nothing but common thieves. Anyone who tries to steal my treasure is looking for a very cruel death. And away we go.
And right down the other pit.
Ozzy's in a pickle. Out of here.
I love the comedy of this section.
You still haven't given up? Huh. Well, how about a good thrashing? Slash.
You ring.
Slash, don't let me down.
At first, I really didn't want to slice and dice yet, but now it sounds kind of fun. Ready? It's Super Slash! I should actually probably put Ayla or Marl in, because each of these have a decent piece of armor you can steal off of them, but we live here now.
Ouch. Come on, sweethearts.
I'm good.
Don't you want the treasure box? Probably filled with goodies.
Ah, found the treasure!
Ozzy's stumped.
I think Ozzy just took out one of his own children. Secret tunnel. I think this is the best armor and weapon for Magus, if I remember correctly.
Not so fast, friends. I'm not going to make it that easy out for you. Ozzy Pants. Flea Vest. Slasher 2. These unique items make us invincible.
And those are the items you can steal, but... Ow. Hey, Squirrel, thank you for the 14-month resub. Saw the hype train and was wondering if Manny had visited. Nope, just bits. Haven't seen Manny on my channel in a bit, but... You have all the level 0 hype train emotes. Which, shout out, I guess? Yeah? Womp womp. So, the moral of the story is don't do anything that hits all three of them at once. Unfortunately, there was no save point just before that fight. Also finished all of your canon law reading. Hey, that's awesome. Skip book 7. So it didn't seem like a book that would apply to me much as a laity, but everything else I wrapped up on Friday. That's impressive. I like how the first 5 canons are basically just like self-defining what canon law is in the same way that like a programmer would self-describe terms at the start of a program. Not your best show, Ozzy. To anyone just joining us, we're speeding through this because I have already gone through this and died at the end. And I don't think my voice could take doing all those Ozzy lines out loud again. Ozzy, can you not call me a sweetheart? It makes me really uncomfortable when you do. How many tabs do I have that I haven't used? Oh my goodness, I have a lot of magic tabs to use up. Time to make Chrono really good at magic. So anticlimactic, but I'm going to go out and save so we don't have to do that again. And I think I am going to swap Magus out for Ayla. See if I can't steal those things off of them. Assuming she has charm. Yeah, she has charm. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's give her the rage band. Oh, you're just gonna do that anyway. That's not very nice. Also, why is Frog so low health? Did you start that way, or did... All right, Ayla, it's up to you now. I'm gonna hate if this works. Because she gets healed from the Delta Force because of her armor. She's resistant, or she actually absorbs dark damage. So long as they do the three-person attack enough. And then she's got the counterattack. It was the thought that counted. Thanks, that's how you know you didn't get the steal. Or they could just... Well... Not dead yet. Aha, darkness. Okay, did some damage there, but... Yes, heal my Ayla. I think I want Slasher 2 the most out of all the things I can steal. Okay, well. So that's the counterattack if you attack Slash. Okay. I'm figuring this boss fight out. It's just weird that the Delta Force is also just regular attack that Ozzy can use with them, but whatever. Because so long as it heals Ayla, I don't care. This feels like I'm cheesing this fight, but I don't care.
you do? You say a magic word, Ayla poison? Ayla no like.
As soon as Ozzy goes down, I'm gonna revive Chrono and Frog, I think. Because then I won't have the counterattack that heals Ayla, but also won't have the counterattack that basically takes care of Chrono and Frog. I do like that Ayla is softening Slash and Flee this entire time. Oop.
Ayla care? Ayla eat your attack for breakfast. Ayla also invent breakfast.
Maybe don't mind a canon law question. I will say I am not a canon lawyer. So, Canon 1181, paragraph 1, talks about being buried in parish cemetery unless the deceased or those competent to take care of the burial or the deceased have chosen another cemetery legitimately. What does legitimately mean here? Is this what you would call a salvation issue? I would not call it a salvation issue at all. It is part of a practical application, if you will, of the corporal work of mercy of burying the dead. It's basically saying that, you know, we don't want people's bodies buried inappropriately or lackadaisically. And, you know, and it would be ideal to be buried in a parish cemetery, but maybe your parish doesn't have a cemetery, as honestly most American parishes don't. Or you live in an area where there isn't a Catholic run cemetery. So legitimately, especially in canon law, it tends to mean that it has been appropriately discerned with regards to the various parties and to having insight and help from appropriate church ecclesiastical figures. So it's more of a rule of charity for the deceased rather than a rule for the deceased has to take into account before they die. Oh, yeah. Because in many ways, you know, if, let's say you died unexpectedly, you know, God forbid, and you don't have any, and you're, for just a completely out there thing, you're traveling in a foreign country that isn't very Catholic, and they're just like, well, we have no contacts for this person, we have no way of arranging a funeral for them, so we're going to give them a pauper funeral. You know, it's not like you're going to show up at the pearly gates and God's going to be like, well, you did great right up until that burial thing that you had no control over. But yeah, it's more a matter of charity for us to take care of the bodies of the deceased than a matter for the one who is deceased, although we can take into account in our planning, there are, you can have a will and sort of stipulations, I guess. There's a word for it, but expectations for even when you're alive in the hospital of like, hey, this is the kind and style of care I want to receive to be in line with Catholic teaching. Advanced medical directives, that's the phrase I'm looking for. So, it's kind of like that, but for being dead. But again, literally no control over it. Oh. Ayla got all that experience. Ayla, she deserves all that experience. She did it by herself. But we did get Slasher 2, which is pretty good. Yeah, look at that. That's a 17 power increase for Chrono. That's pretty good. Yeah, that was a really good question, by the way, Squirrel.
I can't lose. What would become of my mystics? I must win. Mwahaha, gotcha.
Oh.
Adios, amigos. Never. You'll never defeat me.
I wouldn't say never. Kitty.
No, not that switch.
Why would you even have that lever?
What he want? Ayla no understands.
I feel like I'm missing something now. Is that it? Do I just walk out? Of course, happy to answer. I did not get the flea vest, but that's okay. Okay, let's bring Magus back. Let's go to the present age. The great adventurer Toma Levine rests here, March 6th, 634. Or is it June 3rd? The world may never know. Pour one out for our friends. Chrono, long time no see. Located the Rainbow Shell. To the northwest of this cape is a large island called the Giant's Claw. You can find the shell there. But beware, many beasts about. Time to shove off. He's a patient man waiting 400 years. You guys are right a minute. See ya. So I feel like we got the hint here about someone who's a carpenter. But alas. Well, let's go get the rainbow shell. Nope. So you're saying you need St. Joseph. I mean, we all need St. Joseph on some level. What I need there, though, is a landing spot. Thomas crumpled note. Those holes. What if I jump into them on purpose? Yes! I'll start back at the beginning and... Yes, I would. Yes, I do need a carpenter. This throne looks familiar. The Chrono lair. Prehistoric castle. Groovy. Oh, I'ma shock you guys. Problem is, I don't really need the carpenter, I just need his tools. Ultra electrical discharge. Oh no, they've evolved. A small current from a small dino. I have a feeling there's more in that room we didn't explore. So we didn't go down the steps. God, those look terrifying. Lizardactyl. Now I'm scared to ask what dactyl means. I guess toe. So this means lizard toe. No! How dare you bamboozle me? You tell me that dinosaurs are weak to lightning, and now all of a sudden it heals them. This is cheating. No, bad Chrono. Quit being confused. Florida gets a taste of fall, and then taste of fall to electric boogaloo, and now we're hitting the in-between period. Is Florida subtropical? I don't remember. I mean, I have to sometimes turn on the AC in my house, or in my room, but that's because this is an old house and our heater system is a boiler-run radiator. And so it's kind of impossible to control on different levels. No! I didn't want to fight Monkey. Humid subtropical is the category. Okay. Guys, the mid upper 70s through Friday, and then we get the next cold front. No, why would you... Why would you show the cat falling? Why would you make me feel like the bad person? Oh, you weirdos again. Actual cold front. Ooh, that does look chilly. Like, for Florida's standards. And the thing is that, you know, if you don't have the infrastructure in houses or, you know, the clothing, like, yeah, that's still gonna be cold. Ew. I think I get it. Because Toma's thing was like, I should fall down the holes. And we have to fight these things again. You'd have preferred to have some degrees of seasons. I mean, it's all trade-off, I guess. You have hurricanes, so you don't get winter. Wait. That's not a fair trade-off. That's just having two bad things. Winter and construction. Fall down the hole. Will you quit body dropping, Chrono, please? I said please. Gotta love an environment where you don't get above 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's make Chrono punch gooder. Will you quit tossing us around like a cornhole set? Let's get some levels. Let's go. Okay, so that's the way out. So I should... Okay, I can get down there and get back up. Another power tab. Nice. We also got a blue rock, which is a triple attack item we can equip. So we have the Dark Eternal Black Rock. Blue rock, triple attack, Omega Flare. These monkeys really have it out for Prague. Is that what I want? I want this. He's a lapis. I don't even remember. Oh, right. Heals everyone. Sounds like something useful. Why does this lizard know how to breathe fire? It seems like it knows too many things. It knows how to discharge electricity when it's shocked. It knows how to breathe fire. It knows how to have high defense. I think it's cheating. Thought I saw some. Oh, I did. There's a blue sparkle on the right. So maybe I have to go around to get it. No! I've been betrayed by a trap. How could this have happened? Never mind, everything's okay. Yeah, I don't know what the dinos invented, but they did something right getting these flames to work literally for centuries. Literally millions of years, actually. Nope, 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 nope. And I'll tell you why, nope. Because we're going to go to a commercial break. So it is already almost 4:30. So this is actually perfect because the boss is right on the other side of that door. Bet you can guess what it is if you've been paying attention to the game and everything. But we will be right back, so go ahead, take a chance to stretch your legs, get a drink of water, do what you need to do, and we will be back in about 3 minutes. And we are back. All right, let's go fight this boss. Hello? Hello? Oh, there you go. Now you've noticed me. Bye. Well, it worked once. So I think the countdown it's doing is to do like a big fire breath attack on all of us. So I think Magic Wall should do well. But unlike other bosses, there was a save point. Which is pretty neato keen. Gone off a good number of spires here. Yep. Fire breath attack. Called it. But, you'll notice we didn't take that much damage. I wish I had Chrono's ultimate attack right now. It's very powerful. Excuse me.
Stop that. Stop it.
I don't have enough. MP. That's a problem. Hit everyone with a heal. Just make sure we have as much health as possible, so that between the shielding and that, we'll be fine. Okay, Chrono took a decent amount there, but... No, sir. Frog legs are not on the menu. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. No, sir. I feel like I have to be getting close. Wait, when did you start counting down again? I didn't even see it. I feel like that countdown went way faster than it should have. What is HP and MP? Great question. What? I call baloney. I was pretty well healed. I had magic shields on some of them. This would be better if I had... I am dead. HP is health points. MP is magic points. Trying to think. I have a ruby vest, but that's a pretty big cut in. I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to redo this whole castle because I need to go get ruby armor so I can better absorb fire attacks. And we're gonna have to do that at some point anyway for another boss. Grammar am kind of important. How do you have enough in there for Ultra Discharge? I barely even zapped you once. Is this the way up? Yeah. No, that's okay. Oh no! I accidentally just reset the console. I didn't mean to do that. I was just pressing buttons. Because I'm like, oh, okay, we'll do this, and then we'll get out of there. And... Not my finest moment. You know what? I'm just going to give Dark Chrono another try. I feel like we were pretty close. I just have to pay better attention to the countdowns. Getting through that door is tricky. Oh, well. What if I just run past you? No? Hey, Mithril. Let's see what an X strike does. In terms of damage. Okay, so Spire's better, but that's still not bad. You believe me? Oh, that's good, because I believe in you, so by the power of the transitive property. Just dark. What kind of damage does Dark Bomb do? Oh, that's pretty good. Uh-oh. I just noticed that Magus's shield ran out. Just before that attack went off. Not ideal. Okay, we're counting down. The countdown happens quickly. Chrono used the item version just to make it a little faster. That'd be a good time to use some mid-ethers, I guess. Just don't eat frog, please. It's okay, I was gonna heal up Magus anyway. Bunch of crunch Chrono. Okay, his firepower is leveled up. So this next one's the big doozy. Why did it wear off on Chrono and Frog? I'm worried. Oh, 1,000 damage to Chrono. But Chrono is still alive. Or not. I mean, two of them are still alive. I know what I'm saying. Three, two, one. What do you mean 3, 2, 1? Why do you count that quickly? That seems like cheating. That's valid, but thanks for being here, Britt. Okay, so I think when it gets to the firepower has leveled up, and it's just about to go ham on it is, I'm gonna put the ruby vest on Chrono. Do I have another ruby vest? No, I just have the one. Okay, let's try that. But when it gets to that point where it's like, it's level up, just go ham. Don't worry about healing at that point, just seek to end it. In fact, I wonder... Because Chrono does about 1,200 damage there. Spyro is doing about 1,400. So if I split it up... so that, it's just Leap Slash and Confuse. How much does this do? Okay, so that actually does more damage in total. So that's doing about 1,900 versus 1,400. So... So that's about 3,000 damage in one turn cycle for me. Does eat up Chrono's MP. But we have a lot of mid-ethers and even full ethers. Actually, I might use Chrono, or use a full ether on Chrono here. Also doesn't help that we're constantly losing at HP because of the, I guess the passive of this boss is that it smells so bad. Okay, let's see how Chrono handles this with the Ruby Vest. He has lower defense, but he absorbs 50% of fire damage. Oh yeah, that was a lot better. That went a lot better. Stab that. Magus is not duck à l'orange, I promise you. Yes! Let's go! Third strike and you're out of there. Oh, it's so pretty.
Behold the rainbow shell.
Thunk. Who's going to carry this for us? Ah, we will just tell you the answer.
Hello, you are always welcome here. What can I do for you? We ask a favor.
I get it. You want me to keep that huge shell safe here until this next century, right? I ask you for the sake of Chrono, please carry out the request.
Done. I shall obtain the shell and store it in the castle as a national treasure. Knight Captain.
Yes, Majesty.
Go and obtain the rainbow shell and bring it back in one piece. At once, sire. Thanks to thee from one so humble.
Where's my spaceship? Cool, so they're gonna go get it for us. They're gonna put it in the castle. We can pick it up later. Everything's gonna be fine. I can't talk today. There could not possibly be any sort of complication with this. Oh, I need to put the proper armor back on Chrono.
Terrorists! What terrorists?
Well, I guess I did show up with Magus, the literal enemy of the state. Let's bring Marl in, you know, the princess. Princess Nadia!
I've been away, princess. I understand your pain, but the king only cares about his realm. Yes. Even when your mother, Queen Elisa, passed away, he worked all day.
No one could do that. It's inhuman.
Oh, child, it's ancient history now.
Tell me more.
Oh, this may be difficult. Well, Queen Elisa's condition suddenly changed for the worst. She desperately wanted to see the king one last time, but he couldn't find the time to drop by. Said he had work to do. But knowing nothing about death, you waited faithfully by your mother's side. Elisa passed away in sorrow. It's as if the king indirectly killed her. Such a shame.
What? Father killed my mother?
Oh, but what do I know? There are reasons for everything, right, dear? Now, so glad to see you back. Please go and visit the king.
Weren't you chasing us around like 3 days ago relative to your time? The king ordered that the court be locked until the trial's over. I'm sorry, what? Trial? They say the king sold off the royal treasure. Uh-oh. Same thing on the left, but weren't there some stairs? Yeah, these are new. This is the treasury. No entry permitted. The king ordered. Yeah, I know the... Ooh, hyper ether. Let me throw!
Had any of you heard of the rainbow shell? I too had no idea until I found this.
Oh, maybe messing with the timelines was a bad idea.
It's an ancestral will. It says, unveil the rainbow shell to the people at the Millennial Fair.
What are you talking about? We have no family heirlooms here.
So this is a forgery. Why does the defendant deny the people a glimpse of the rainbow shell? Because he no longer has it. He sold the heirloom for cash. Witness, please. What is it, Nadia? We are conducting a trial here.
Father! Nadia, the Chancellor is trying to frame me.
He hurls insults. Confirm your innocence with proof.
Proof?
Yes, if he hasn't sold the heirloom, it should be in the castle. Show me the rainbow shell and I'll accept his innocence.
Chancellor, what kind of trickery is this?
Remove them!
Rude. Princess Ivan, you may enter. 'Tis the rainbow shell that shall prove his innocence. What are you saying? It's a lie. There is no heirloom. Princess Nadia, you were sort of technically there. We just got it. Hast thou forgotten? History hath been changed, and the shell is within the castle. Aha, the rainbow shell. We gave it to my ancestor 400 years ago. It's probably in the basement. That basement we didn't used to have, but I suddenly remember. A rat bit me. I think more than a rat bit you. You're knocked out like that, but,
Yeah, the boss is itching to avenge the grudge that has been in the family for 13 generations. He's gonna frame the king.
I'm gonna fight you, Nasher. I'm gonna hit you, Nasher. I'm gonna hit you with a Nasher. Oh, hey, we just learned their triple deck. So there is a plot. Let's hurry. I confess, I bought it from the king. He said he needed the cash. Liar! I've never seen you before. Order in the court. Was I convincing?
Perfect.
Wait a minute. I think this Chancellor's underhanded. How did the guards let... Like, they stopped me being like, terrorists, but these literal monsters are like, nah, okay, you can come on in. Hang out in the treasury, why don't you? I mean, I know it's because the evil Chancellor let them in, but still. Oh, I should check Marl's gear. So we haven't used Marl in a moment. Also, I'm just raiding the treasury, and no one seems to care. But, you know. The rainbow shell. Why, 'tis a letter. To Marl? Dearest Marl, I know things are tough between you and your father, but nothing can break your bond of blood. Neither words of anger nor great distances. Someday, when you have children, you will understand. This special bond is part of a family tree which links us together. Queen Guardia the 21st, Lean. Dear Queen Lean, let us now make haste and fulfill our quest. Father, hang in there. We're coming. Members of the jury, if he is guilty, stand to the left, innocent to the right. Guilty. Don't have time to fight you nerds. We have a trial to interrupt. You won't reconsider? No, princess. Here's one way. It's a bit rough, but follow me. The verdict is in. Guilty.
The Guardia line ends here. This domain shall be mine. Take him away.
Wait.
Who is it?
Father!
Nadia! Princess, control yourself! You're too late. The king has been found guilty. Even kings are subject to our laws.
No, this was a setup.
Nonsense, the king's a crook.
But the treasure's right here.
Impossible.
Your little scheme is over, Chancellor.
I mean...
Huh?
It's not the plot you think. I'm here to avenge my ancestors. Super Ultra Presto Transformo!
Does no one learn anything in this game? They're like, because this is Yakir the 13th. We fought his ancestor. And now he's here, and he's like, I'm going to try the exact same thing. Yes, keep using that on Marl. She is immune to your trickery. Okay, that's pretty good attack. 2,000 damage. Meat mass.
Draw.
He is blessing my endeavors. Oh, that's good. Because currently my endeavor is beating this bug up.
Your weaknesses are. This is it. Needle Spin version 13.
Okay, that actually kind of hurt. Wow, I thought that was gonna be it, to be honest.
Defeated again.
Father, No, don't say it. I was wrong to be so stubborn. No, I didn't even think about how you felt. I know it in my heart, but the words just come out wrong. I, too, have that problem. I thought you left me, but realized that it was I who abandoned you. But I'm here now. We'll talk about everything that's happened, about Chrono and Mother and... Your mother. How sad. It has taken me so long to understand what Elisa meant with her last words. Someday when Nadia grows up, she will bring her beloved to meet you. Welcome him warmly. It will be a day you remember forever. You heard her last words? Of course. Oh, you were so young. You ran around saying, "Daddy, it's fun having all my favorite people here." Seeing you so happy, she felt reassured. She left us quite peacefully. So that's how it was. Yes, why? The evil chancellor lied to you? Shocker? I used to call you Daddy? Oh, you did. I'm so sorry, Daddy. Really sorry for doubting you. I'll let you exit the castle, but be careful now. Take care of her.
Indeed, sir.
It's my turn now. Melchior. Oh, I can't let you run the whole show. I make some weapons from the rainbow shell. Finally, time for me to do something. Watch and learn. Okay, but first... Ooh, treasure chest. Yakur dropped something when he died. And where's the real Chancellor? Also, do all these people just hang out here in the courtroom all the time? And how'd they get the glass fixed so quickly? Is there a Castle Glacier on staff?
Oh, Phil, finally. That beast keep me locked up in here. Princess Nadia, your friends, I presume? Wait, I don't have time for this. I must prepare for the Moonlight Parade.
Couldn't just leave him be, you know?
Aha, this is a very rare armor deflects magic. I can make you one prism dress featuring maximum defense, or I can make 3 less effective prism helms.
The helms.
Just you wait. Off you go. Interesting substance. I could make some great stuff with an alloy of it.
I don't think we can make an alloy of shell. Like, I don't think calcium carbonate can become an alloy. Did I just get stuck? Okay, good. Legitimately thought for a moment there that I got stuck, and yeah, it wouldn't have been great. I thought he was supposed to give us something else as well. Oh well. Let's bring in Magus. Let's really quickly, let's go to the end of time. Heal up for free there. Okay, let's go to 65 million BC. Because there's some good armor we can get there that'll help with one of the other quests. Not a lot happening at these hunting grounds, not gonna lie. Ooh, rain. This is good. This is big. 'Cause anytime it rains here, a new will appear at at different spots. And the new gives you huge XP and a bunch of the feather, talon, etc. things that you need. Yeah, 3 each. Unfortunately, I don't really remember what I need to get this armor. Like, what the combination is. So we'll just try to get a bunch. Ooh, more rain. Where's that new? Where's he gonna spawn? Dang it, we didn't find him. Do you think Frog feels weird fighting these frogs? I'm not gonna find this new. This is one of the corners it can show up in. Well, let's see what we can do. We can get the armor. Oh, so I need 10 of each. Okay. Okay, so I don't have enough to trade for another, but it is just 10 of each. So that makes it easier to keep track of in some ways. So we would need A lot more petals and a lot more horns. Not a lot of fangs, not a lot of feathers. Okay. So let's go get 20 of each in total. Truly the most thrilling of gameplay right now, I know. You are headed off to the gym. Have fun. Lift things up, put them down. Make room for the turkey on Thursday. Hello? Why can't I fight that little slime? Oh wow, New didn't even get a chance to headbutt us. It's really unlucky that we didn't find... Ooh! The New during the last rainstorm. Ah! I was hoping that's where the New would be. Okay, how many of these items do I have now? So still need... Well, I just need more petals in general just to get this. Even once, but... Almost have enough for... I might just go with 2, because we have the ruby vest. So I'll probably just use that for a third character in this upcoming boss fight, which we're not even going to get to today. I thought we could do this... I thought we could do all the side quests today, but... Oh, come on, I just need... Are there no more creatures? Oh, hey. That's pretty convenient. Yes, please. No, I don't have enough for more. Let's go to Middle Ages. And let's retry this sand boss. Yes! Chrono just learned Luminaire. That is huge. Let me show you Luminaire. So first we'll have these get debuffed. Chrono's ultimate spell. It hits all enemies. It counts as light. For those of you who are Final Fantasy fans, it's the equivalent of like casting Ultima. Ooh, Dark Mist. Now I do it. I want to change this up to Gold Stud. Got magic used by 25%, because the downside of Luminaire is it costs 20 MP. But with this, it only costs 5 MP. So it's a little broken. Chrono, you're a really good swordsman, but also, what if you just cast Magic Dome of Light on everything? Okay, got all that. Want to heal everyone up. Want to get everyone's ether maxed out. Because we'll probably just wind up fighting the boss right away like we did last time. But this time we're better prepared.
Watch me this.
Oh, well. See? We're fighting them. I wonder if darkness will heal him. Probably will. One way to find out. Oh no. Light heals him. That's a problem. Everything heals him except for physical. Cool. I wonder if that stays true now that the core is gone. Probably. That was a pretty clutch heal. Hey, Cheesy. Figure I have enough lapises at this point that I don't mind using one here or there. Your afternoon has been all right. The kids are all right. Is that it? Hey, there we go. Because they're about to see a movie. Ooh, what you seeing? Bonhoeffer. I'm interested to know how that one is. I find Dietrich Bonhoeffer a very interesting person. Although I know there's a lot of discussion over the tagline of the movie because they use the word assassin, and it's like, as far as I'm aware, he didn't assassinate anyone. He did serve as a spy. You know, he was very helpful to the Allies, which is good on him. We'll see how it portrays him. Indeed.
I'd be certain. Let us inform Fiona.
Muscle ring. I wonder how close I was the last time we faced that. Thank you for routing the beasts. Unfortunately, it'll take centuries to revive the forest. Wish I could live long enough to see my wish come true. You can come for me when the job is done. May I stay behind and help Fiona? Sure. You're a robot. I don't see a downside to this. Oh, look at him. He's a little tractor. Now if we go to 1000 AD to present. Boom, it's a forest! This is Fiona's shrine. Here we give thanks to Fiona and Robo for replanting the forest 400 years ago. The remaining into the lofty Robo are enshrined in the inner sanctum. Here's a hat made from a magical bough filled with mystical forest powers. Oh, you're not just gonna give it to me. And it costs 50,000? We'll think about it. Systems reactivated. Where am I? Ah, Chrono. How nice to see you. For you it was a quick hop, but for me 400 long years have passed. The effort was worth it. The forest has grown back. Let us celebrate our 400th year reunion. After 400 years of experience, I have come to think that Lavos may not be responsible for the gates. What do you mean? I have come to think that someone or something wanted us to see all of this. The different events over time that we have witnessed is almost as if some entity wanted to relive its past. Ayla, no. When people die, elders say see whole life pass by.
It is true that mortals do relive their most profound memories before death claimeth them. But those memories most often are sad ones.
Thinking things like, if only I had done this, or I shouldn't have done that, triggers unpleasant old memories. Will that happen when our time comes? Probably, who knows? Is there any point in time you'd want to return to, Luca? Not really. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that something I shouldn't have asked? It's okay. Just something I don't like to talk about. I used to love it when, but then Now my brain can't complete that reference, sorry.
Lavos playeth an integral role for the fortunes of this entity.
So who is this entity? It is unknown whose memories these are. It may be something beyond our comprehension. Our journey may come to an end when we finally discover the identity of the entity. Shall we turn in for the night? So there's a lot of interesting fan theories because what the entity is never fully explained. Some people think it's us, the player, the viewer, who's doing this. I think it's honestly the planet. I think because the planet dies, and so it's reliving all its memories. So, just to play on your own version of reliving. Ah. Don't mind me, just a little Luca. Did I make it back to that moment? 624, 990 AD. Dad promised to go hiking with me, but blew me off again due to his work. I hate science. I loathe it. We're at Luca's house. What is this thing? Tabin says to keep away from it. It's so dusty. I'll just... Dear me, my skirt. I'm stuck. Luca, help me. I can't pull it out. Ah, enter the password. Stop the machine. I don't know, Mommy. You can fail this, by the way. Enter the password. And I did. I screwed that up. I swear I was entering the password correctly. I wish I hadn't heard what the doctor told Dad. Mommy's legs there. If only I knew more about machines, then Mom would still be okay. Yeah, if you succeed, you save Luca's mom. She's still alive. She just loses her legs. So she's confined to her room. That was actually kind of depressing to fail. Not gonna lie. Hey, Mel. I'll give you my legs. They're lightweight and well-balanced. You could mount some treads on me instead. Shut up, Robo. You're not helping. Don't be so sad, Luca. Thanks. You're such a good friend. Friend? Me, a robot. You called me your friend? This is for you. A piece of amber I created using the sap from the tree in the forest. It took 400 years and a lot of pressure to make. I hope you find it useful. Green Dream. Oh, Robo, you're so sweet. Mel's here, better hide. Panic. Yeah, so let's go visit Luca's mom. So yeah, so if you succeed, which I really can't. You see, she's stuck here. Luca and Tabin only care about their silly toys. So yeah, so Luca became a scientist in this timeline to prevent something like that from ever happening again. Just in time. It's the finest work, the ultimate defense for my daughter. With my mood right now, hiding is appropriate. I'm trying really hard to remember patience and charity with everyone. I really just want to blow up and punch someone in the face. That is a valid mood to be in sometimes, but not always the most valid or helpful solution. As you obviously know. Okay. But no, I'll keep you in my prayers, Mel. That you get in a better mood and find a place of peace and calm. Bad moods don't last forever. It's over the festival. What fools! Yeah, what fools enjoying themselves. Living life. Ugh. But I also happen to know, Mel, that you live in a different state. And so I feel safe that I cannot be immediately punched.
Yeah, this stuff's mighty tasty.
I'm looking for the tools. Well, I'm glad that I would never do anything, but, you know. Better safe than sorry, I suppose. I feel like if I go to an inn, I will find a worker who's like, I give up. Here's some. Yes, I have been to the fair. I wonder, actually. I didn't... I'm gonna talk to the mayor over here, because he's super generous. Maybe he has a set of tools. It's also just family members' dad's causing issues. He was invited by my mother's family to Thanksgiving by cousins. That's no problem. He messaged them yesterday to decline the invitation, saying one of my daughters expressed concern about me coming and would cause people to be uncomfortable. And so it's me, the mean daughter, scapegoat. Oh, I'm sorry. That is unfortunate that he, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Okay, generous man does not have tools. But he does have swords all over his house, including in his child's bedroom. Yeah, you've had enough soda. Actually, I have heard about the ghost, but you say the same thing anyway. Yeah, I could actually restock on my mid-ethers. Oh, they're expensive. Yeah, I've got 15. That's enough. Message cousin that I never told anything about Thanksgiving. She sent me about 1,000 words back. Oh my. Definitely prayers of patience and peace for you. Yeah, this is the... It's the house of the, all of it ignoring my words, so I hit her with the almighty K! That is a power move. Toma, I could only find the rainbow shell because of time travel shenanigans with you, but you know, whatever. Okay, you're trainees, but do you know where his tools are? Do you know who stole them? Hmm. Okay, well, that's what we're gonna pick up next time, I guess. But, okay, so we have something in the future to do with the Sunstone. We have the Night Ghost here in the Middle Ages to defeat. But we did defeat Ozzy and defeated the desert, and we have to do something in the future with Robo. And we got the Rainbow Shell, so we got half of the side quest done, which is pretty good. Off to the movies. Yeah, take care. Hope you have a good time. So thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. Join us again tomorrow for Spirituality Tuesday with more Victory at Hebron, and I have a special surprise at the start of stream for that, so tune in early. We're going to have some fun. Wednesday, midweek Minecraft. Thursday, Thanksgiving. Probably not going to stream. Don't be surprised if there's also just like some random extra stream maybe on Friday or Saturday or something, but I'm not planning on it, but if the mood strikes me, it might happen. If not, oh well. Next week will be a normal week, though, with more Chrono Trigger for RPG Monday. We'll finish up the side quests for sure, hopefully. And then the one after that will probably beat it. Like, defeat Lavos, save the day, which will be nice. We're going to keep doing Victory at Hebron, I think. It's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it, so I'd like to keep playing it for a little while. More midweek Minecraft, of course, and then... as has become tradition, doing humongous entertainment games for December on Throwback Thursday. I believe the first pair I have planned is Freddy Fish. I think it's going to go Freddy Putt Putt Pajama Sam, but I need to look at my calendar. So we'll see. But thanks so much to everyone for tuning in, liking, sharing, subscribing, giving bits, all that good jazz, checking out the YouTube, checking out the Discord. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And if you're not going to be back because you're traveling or whatever, totally understand that. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And why don't we see who's live to raid into? Gonna send you on over to Flame. He's a cool dude. Um, he is playing some Divinity Original Sin along with Hal, and I think Bree as well is involved in it, but I don't remember. But they're good people. Oh, Prince, what a nice young man. She is. Okay, cool. It's what I thought. But yeah. So go give him some love. Raid call will be Father Raid. So hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care and God bless.